So good afternoon. I'm Chris Cooney. I'm president of the Metro South Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar. We're delighted to be working with Massachusetts Small Business Development Center to get information out to small businesses during this COVID-19 time. We hope that you're staying safe with you and your family. We hope your employers are safe, and we hope that you are tuning in to well position yourself for recovery, as we at the Chamber and I know the Small Business Development Center joins me in wanting to help you recover fully and get our economy back and going. So the Small Business Development Center is a network throughout the state of Massachusetts. Our local representative is affiliated with UMass Dartmouth in southeast Massachusetts, and we are, delighted to have them on site monthly at the Chamber to offer small business guidance. They really focus on three areas: business advisory services, the international trade assistance, and government contracting. We are exceptionally delighted to have Jill Beresford with us, who is their person for our region. She is a person that comes with tremendous education and experience in working with Fortune 500 companies. She's filled roles from CEO to CFO to CRO to CMO, and she has brought companies from the brink back into profitable status. She's a great listener and someone who brings a lot of resources to our region and to those businesses that access her expertise. My understanding is that although she's normally available for face-to-face meetings, that we're going to find out today how she's going to be available remotely to talk with businesses and make them aware of the various programs that have recently been enhanced to assist businesses through this COVID-19 situation. So with that, Jill, can you give us a welcome, first of all? Thank you for being part of this.
No problem, Chris. It's always a pleasure to see you and your Chamber people. You guys are real pros.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And we enjoy our relationship with the UMass Dartmouth and the Small Business Development Center. We've got these five reoccurring questions in this time of uncertainty that seem to be reoccurring over and over, and you're hearing from them. So we thought we'd cover those in this 20-minute video so that we can kind of get these out not only to our members, but also many of our partners to make people aware of the latest information. So let me start with the one that seems to be most common. Can I get a loan from the state to get through this COVID-19 situation?
Maybe. Nobody likes that answer, right? Governor Baker announced on March 17th that there was $10 million available, and they had to shut the website down by March 19th because there were too many applications. We're waiting for the website to open back up because another $10 million has been announced. But we haven't seen that happen yet. So one of the things we really encourage people to do is to reach out to us for alternative financing options. And there's lots of them out there.
Okay. Would that be like in the form of 7A loans or 504?
It can be in a whole number of ways. It can be 7A, 504A. It can be using the HELOC in your house. It can be using refinancing business assets. There's a lot that can be done there. It can either be what we call an SBA insured or guaranteed loan, which are very quick to get, okay, or it can be done through traditional mortgage and business asset refinancing.
Okay, great. And so you're available remotely. Can we just tell people how to reach you
Sure.
to kind of get on the list to find out about the next 10 million and other options?
Well, there's no list that I know of, but let me bring this up and share with people, first of all, how to get in touch with us. And share the screen, how to get in touch with us. And the way to do that is to go to this website, which is our Massachusetts Small Business Development Center website, and click on Request for Counseling. So what people would do, there's the address up here, msbdc.org/Southeast Mass, hit Request for Counseling here, and up will pop the information. It's really quick, and it will take you into a scheduling system and you will get a call on when you can talk to us. And we are talking to people outside of regular business hours, virtually, Zoom meetings, telephones, I'll even do email. But the important thing is to connect, and I'll tell you why. 100% of people are really frightened right now. And after I talk to 80% of them, they're really well poised to get through this. And the point is to get people through it. Okay, so that's the first place I want them to go.
That's terrific. And that's a good positive message for folks, just to reach out. Don't wait too long. And we've been hearing that from our bankers too, our commercial bankers. They're saying, please reach out right away so we can talk with you and give you a sense of what we're going to be expecting, what type of leniency we might be offering during this time and for the next few months. But the important aspect is to reach out to Jill and reach out to your banker. So the next question that we hear repeatedly is, how do I get a loan from the SBA Disaster Relief Program? I know as of 1 o'clock this morning, on the 25th, Congress passed the $2 trillion program. We're going to hear more about that on Friday directly from the Small Business Administration. But I'm wondering, what are you telling people about what seems to be coming down from Congress to help small businesses during this time?
Okay, so I'm going to show you one more website, which might create some panic. But the SBA has, this is the website you're going to go to, disasterloan.sba.gov. And there's a very crystal clear button on it when it's up and running that will tell you apply for disaster relief. Click on it and get through the process. Right now, they've had so much traffic that they've taken it down to get more server capacity so they can help more people. But you want to go to sba.gov and it will help you out.
So that's
so what we're go ahead.
I was just saying that's great information that, the site is being expanded. My understanding is that they're following the same model that they use for FEMA, which if you've ever used FEMA during flood or hurricane, that system can seem to handle an endless number of filing of claims at the same time. So the fact that they've shifted really to that model and they're going to have that up and running pretty soon, I think speaks volumes about their preparation for getting this money out to a Main Street business.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say one thing, partisan politics aside, I don't care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, this administration, the SBA has reacted so quickly. They pivot every couple of days to be more productive as the virus gets worse and the situation gets worse, and it's all done with a view to helping small businesses. The president still hasn't signed what was passed last night, as of 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
But as far as I know, it will get signed. It does not mean immediate money. You have to go through the portal and you have to apply. And there are conditions, okay? So I encourage most people to apply. Because if you decide later you don't need the money, you don't take it. Or if you don't get approved, you won't get it. But get your name in, fill out the few questions that they've asked for, and somebody will reach out to you at some point. Chris, really important that there's scammers out there. Yeah. I've already had a client receive an unsolicited phone call from somebody claiming they're from the SBA. Reach out to us if that happens. We'll get on the phone with you to find out if it really is somebody from the SBA.
Okay, so my understanding, Jill, is that the quickest way to get assistance and qualify for these funds is to go to the website and get your information into the queue so that you can be considered for assistance. That's the quickest way. And that's very similar to how FEMA has done it in the past. They've always encouraged people, go online first, fill out the information because it's going to ask you all of the particulars. And it's a lot quicker than possibly going to the library. Now, we don't have the library option now because of the quarantines and all of that. But so go online, and that website is getting updated and will be available to handle the volume. So one of the articles I read this morning about this SBA assistance for small businesses will be that the funds can be used for things like rent, utilities, wages for employees that you haven't laid off. It really, the bread and butter expenses of a small business, and that those are all eligible. So that's really operating funds. And that's something new and different and actually very helpful in this case as compared to, 504 and 7A loans and other loans that are available. So I wanted to ask you, as we're talking about unemployment and that type of thing, one of the questions we got is, can my employees collect unemployment if I send them home at this point or I put them on part-time work?
Absolutely. The answer is yes.
Okay. And so I saw in the $2 trillion legislation approved this morning that they're also extending that to contractors and part-time workers, which is something that was not in the original, but now they're going to be allowing that as well. I also was told by the Secretary of Labor yesterday or the day before now, I've been on so many calls, that they are going to waive the 1 week gap in unemployment. So you'll be eligible from the day you leave employment.
Yes. Now, importantly, that law hasn't been signed yet. So if you are a contractor, we did it this morning with one of my clients who's self-employed. When you go on the mass.gov website to apply for unemployment, it tells you that self-employed are not eligible. So I want people to keep going back because they are eligible. The other thing I want to mention is that this SBA money may not come as quickly as people need it. It's a lot of volume. Every time a governor shuts down a state, and I think there's about 8 or 10 that are shut down now, or a city, people get on the SBA website, and it is a loan application process. So there's going to be down the road underwriters calling you and asking you for information. So the fastest way to get money is, there's 2 ways. One is preserve as much of your cash right now as you can. The government has said nobody can be evicted, nobody can be foreclosed on. So save that cash. You're going to owe it later, but you can work out payment plans later. But preserve that cash right now. Utility companies are looking up to 90 days that you may not have to make the payments. If in 90 days we're still in this position, they may want you to make the oldest payment first, but nobody's going to shut off your power. And then the question is how much. Some businesses are cash businesses like restaurant. Some are receivables businesses where they've sent out invoices, and are their clients going to pay them? They may have cash coming in, and they have to make the unique decision for their business whether they want to keep employees on or not. Some are keeping skeleton staff. Some are. Every situation is unique. Why it's important to talk to us, because we'll walk you through what is unique to your industry and your situation. So some people, probably 75% of the people I talk to, are fine and don't need any money.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's nice. That's the situation. With that said, I saw in another piece of that legislation that each adult will receive $1,200 that, whose family income is under $150,000 a year. And then each child will receive $500 payments. And my understanding is those payments will be out in the next 2 weeks.
I think they'll be very quick. They're going to be cut from the Treasury. Yes.
So that will be helpful for some of the expenses incurred to shelter in place and to be at home and eating. And as we've discovered here in our family, the lights are on longer, the heat's on longer, so we're ordering oil and that type of thing. So that those checks will help with that. So you talk a little bit about the landlord situation, and one of the questions we received here is that do I have to pay my landlord? Now, this is a commercial landlord we're talking about, your tenancy, and you're getting that question. You're telling people what?
Well, it's unique to each situation, okay? Landlords can be pretty tough sometimes, and right now we're in a situation where everybody's fighting to protect their cash for family purposes. So it's kind of like you against them. But the reality is the landlord cannot, even in normal conditions, cannot decide to come and put a lock on your door without a certain length of time of non-payment. They have to go to court and get an injunction, and then they can show up and put a lock on the door and get you evicted. They can't do that now. And so you're still going to owe the landlord the money. You're going to have to work it out when your cash flow improves. But you're probably 120 to 180 days away from them even getting into a courtroom because all the courthouses are closed right now.
So is this applying to both the commercial landlords and the residential landlords?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Landlord-tenant acts usually favor the tenant, whether it's commercial or whether it's residential. I'm not an attorney, but it takes a long time to get people thrown out of residences, and it takes a long time to get people thrown out of their commercial properties in normal times. And this is not normal. It will take even longer.
I see.
But you'll still owe it.
Yeah, right. It's still debt, right. And it may be that some of the SBA funds that you're eligible for may be able to help you relieve that debt once those funds are received, correct? Right. Yeah, okay. So this question is in regard to the SBA loans that you might currently already have to have, if you started your business 3 or 4 years ago and you went to Seed Corporation or any one of the SBA certified lenders, maybe your local bank, and you received a 504 loan or a 7A loan, you're thinking, gee, I was paying those fine until my revenue stream dried up. I understand that they initially said you can put payments off for 4 months and not make payments, and now they've extended that to the end of the calendar year. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Under normal circumstances and you're having trouble, you can ask your SBA lender for a 90-day reprieve on principal and interest, and you can, one time, and then you can also go for up to 6 months paying interest only. That's changing daily. The one thing you can't do is pay off your SBA loan if you get disaster relief money. So every day, people, we can help bring it up to date on what's happening with existing SBA loans, but the government's not going to foreclose on you, and the bank is not allowed to foreclose on you. The big difference today versus the economic meltdown in 2008 is the banks right now are loaded with cash on their balance sheets. They have it to loan. They didn't in 2008. So the banks are probably not going to foreclose on you. In the short term, your credit score may take a hit. But again, banks understand in the future that if you have a bad credit score that traces to COVID-19 and it was good before COVID-19 hit, you're probably going to be able to get another loan. Okay. But you still owe the money. You just have to work it out with the bank afterwards.
Okay, so there'll be more details on that forbearance situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is terrific. You know, we're so delighted to have you with us. Again, Jill Beresford is a counselor, senior counselor with the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center. She covers the city of Brockton and the surrounding region, and she's available via a counselor pool at the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center website, which is, okay, can you tell us what that is?
Sure. It's M as in Michael, S as in Susan, B for boy, D for David, C for Carol, MSBDC.org/S for Susan, E for Eastern Mass.
Okay, that's terrific.
I can put it back up again if you want me to. Otherwise, you can email me and I will send it to Lexi. I'll send her the link and you can send it out to everybody.
That's great. I'm also going to remind folks that are tuning into this that the website of the Chamber has a full collection of both city, state, as well as federal resources for small businesses during this time. And that's metrosouthchamber.com, all one word, www.metrosouthchamber.com. You'll see on that opening page, there's 3 headers that talk about 3 different aspects of recovery from this situation. So I want to thank you, Jill, once again for tuning in and being such a stalwart supporter of small businesses in our region and a partner of ours and on site, as I said, on a regular basis. We're going to miss you in the office for the next few weeks, but we look forward to welcoming you back. And hopefully we can do an update to this next week.
Anytime, Chris. Anytime. Just reach out.
Great. Thank you so much, Jill.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.